Wrestling fans, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, let's get ready to rumble!
And now, please welcome at this time your hosts, Graham GSM Matthews and RJ Marceau. You're listening to the next era of wrestling radio. This is WrestleRant Radio.
From Las Vegas, this is WrestleMania week, the April 17th, 2025 edition of WrestleRant Radio. I'm Graham Jason Matthews. Hope you guys are doing well. A bit of a makeshift setup here today from the Las Vegas hotel. Days out from the shows. We got a lot to get into here today with the one, the only, the returning Mr. Marceau, the same individual who I explored Vegas with for the first time 6 years ago. 6 years later, we're back here in Sin City talking WrestleMania 41. Mr. Marceau, brother, what's going on?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing well. Mr. Marceau is obviously in transit right now, which is why you can't see him on screen. We'll get him back on screen next week. But if he does cut up audio-wise, obviously he'll recover and he'll be totally fine. But I'm glad to be speaking with you here today, Mr. Marceau. Being back in the city, I was here last for SummerSlam 2021 a few years ago, which was great. But we were also here for the first time, which was the inferior trip for me. I joke about it with you. I rib you about it all the time. But you can sometimes never beat your first. I was here in Vegas with you 6 years ago. How does it feel for you? I know you're not here with me right now, but kind of full circle moment, I feel like.
No, I mean, like you said, it's been a few years. I mean, I assume it's similar to when we went. I mean, I haven't been back in 6 years, but I mean, it's from what I've seen, it looks like it's WrestleMania galore, and it looks like the city's taking it pretty well, and it seems like so far you've had a good time, and I feel like it's a great city to have a big event like that. I feel it's easy to advertise, obviously, and looks like you're gonna have a great time.
Listen, I think one of these days we'll have to have a redemption trip and come back to Sin City ourselves to make up for Double or Nothing 2019 was a fun weekend. Don't get me wrong, it was a fun time. We have to make up for that cold bagel that you got from Starbucks at the very least.
I'm still not over that. I still have a chip tooth from that cold-ass bagel.
Double or Nothing 2019, the first year actually since, other than like the COVID years, that WWE or rather AEW will not be here in Vegas for Double or Nothing. They're actually taking the year off, probably because WWE's here a month earlier for WrestleMania. They're going to be in Arizona next month instead. But we're talking all things WrestleMania here today. Preview, picks, predictions for the Showcase the Immortal this weekend. The Showcase of the Immortals coming up this weekend, April 19th and April 20th. Do got to mention this as we go get going here. Alexis, Miss Maud Matthews, Dillon DiGiacomo, Mrs. Renee, DJ Swerve1, follow him on the Instagram machine at Swerve1, W-O-N, that is. Find him. Daniel Malcolm on X at I'm Quarter. Letter I, letter M, the word quarter. Mr. Marceau himself at RJ_Marceau, of course. John Ritland on the YouTube machine. Real Honesty with John Ritland, as well as Richie. You can find him on YouTube at Red Planet Wrestling here on YouTube. All the channel members. Please consider signing up for a channel membership here on the WrestleRant channel. Unlock the WrestleRant All Access Pass. You get early access to videos, ad-free, a few hours before they go live for everyone else. Top billing on hashtag AskGSM and WrestleRant Radio with questions and comments, topics of your choice. If you do become a channel member, you get shout-outs, like I just said at the beginning and end of every single live stream that we do. Discord access opening soon, badges and emojis in the live chat, members-only live streams, and so much more. So please consider signing up for a channel membership in the description box, top of the video if you're watching on the PC, or just in the, like I said, the description box if you're watching on the YouTube app. So let's get into this, Mr. Marceau. I mean, before we even get into the card itself, and I forgot to mention as well, new episodes of WrestleRant Radio every single Thursday, WrestleRant.com, WrestleRantRadio.com. YouTube version before that audio rolls out soon after. So now that being said, Mr. Marceau, what is your excitement level going into this weekend for WrestleMania 41? Because it's been quite the road to WrestleMania so far as the ups, the downs, card kind of coming together, some cancellations. How excited are you for WrestleMania coming up this Saturday and Sunday?
I would say I'm probably like an 8.5, 9 out of 10. I mean,
okay.
I maybe I'm just a mark, but I mean, regardless of the build, I feel like I always get juiced up for WrestleMania. Now, especially that's the 2 nights. I know I'm not gonna be fighting sleep probably, so that's always a positive, and it also breaks up, makes me something to do on a Saturday and Sunday night. So I'm excited. I think each night has the matches that everyone's looking forward to, the must-sees, and they do have a couple matches that are probably piss breaks or go get more popcorn, but I mean, hey, it's not everything can be Starkey 97 at the end of the day, so I mean, I'm excited. Like I said, maybe at the end of the day, I'm just a little bit more excited than everyone else because I'm a mark, but I'm excited for both nights.
That's the positive mindset. That's the PMA I like to hear from Mr. Marceau here on these streams as far as his excitement level for WrestleMania. Any plans for the pay-per-view? Going to be watching live after the fact, ordering food, anything like that, or nothing special?
I'll be definitely watching live both nights. I mean, that's my plan. There's no NASCAR this weekend. It's the Lord's holiday, so
that's good.
Don't have to worry about that. So yeah, I plan on probably just watching my dad, and maybe Molly will jump in a little bit, but I plan on watching both nights live with my dad, I assume.
Very nice. That should be a fun time. Obviously, text me updates as the show goes along and vice versa. We'll definitely discuss during the show. Shout out to Nathaniel and Fernando joining in the chat as we get going here. Thank you guys for tuning in live and after the fact. You could also like the video as we get going. Drop a comment in the chat. We'll answer it. We'll talk about it here as we go over our predictions for the pay-per-view. Nathaniel said a little bit earlier on, kind of on the same topic of what we just discussed. He said, "Hi, I'm excited for WrestleMania. I'll order fast food during WrestleMania." That's the best way to do it. Mr. Marceau and I watched our fair share of Manias together at college, and we would order food every time. So I can totally relate to that. He also said, "I wonder if Rock shows up during Punk, Roman, and Seth to set up Rock versus Roman for next year." We'll get into that. That's an interesting comment. I had seen something on Twitter before we hit record here about Rock being, believed to be at the pay-per-view tomorrow. I would honestly be a little bit surprised if he wasn't. We'll get into that later on. He also said, "Did you hear Roman's contract is up after next year's WrestleMania?" I did. Roman's another one making the rounds right now with the media and whatnot, and of all the things that he said. And one of the topics he touched upon was his contract, where he said when it's up in the next year or two max, he might leave the world of wrestling for a lighter form of entertainment. Did you see that quote, Mr. Marceau? And if so, what are your thoughts on that? Roman Reigns might not be long for WWE.
I didn't see that. No, I didn't. I did see he was making the media rounds, but I mean, at this point, I mean, he's lighter schedule. I mean, he's barely working as it is now.
I mean, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
I don't know what else he could. I mean, it's not like he's going into. I mean, if he's going Hollywood, I mean, I assume he'd probably be a little bit more busy than he is now. So, I don't know exactly what that entails, but like you said, he's not really working that much to begin with now, so I'm not quite sure what lighter entertainment means.
Probably acting, but that was my first thought too when I saw that quote. Like, brother, you're working 4 or 5 matches a year, max as it is. I mean, what exactly is a lighter form of entertainment? And even when he does wrestle, no offense, but he's out there doing the same couple of moves, showing up at the end of the match if it's a tag match. He's not out there working 30-minute instant classics every night, so I thought that was funny. Fernando said, "What's up, fellas?" He also asked how the weather is out here. It's great. I mean, it's Vegas weather. It's thankfully April. when Mr. Marceau and I were here. Was it hot? It was definitely hot when we were here. I was sweating.
It was hot.
Yeah, no, I mean that was Memorial Day weekend.
It was Memorial Day weekend. We were basically flirting with June. I think each day we were there was like high 90s. I mean, it's 45 right now in Massachusetts, so I wish it was a little bit warmer, but what's it like out there for you?
It's good. I mean, it's like, I don't want to say 60. It's probably like high 60s. The breeze is nice, too, because in the Northeast, obviously, as you said, it's been cold now for a while. You know what let me check right now on my phone, because in the Northeast, the last, while, it's been freezing. Currently, it says it's 71 degrees with the breeze. It's amazing. And,
that's beautiful weather.
Prime weather. It's a nice sunny day. 60% chance of rain today. It must be in like an hour or two because I do not see that. Maybe tonight. I don't see that at all. Friday 68, Saturday 75, Sunday 83. Remember when we went to Mania? You know, speaking of Mania memories, we went to Mania in Orlando in 2017. Oh, dude. I mean, you went to Disney earlier that day. I still can't believe you did that.
That might have been the longest day of my life, and it was like 97. I remember. It was so fucking hot.
It was tough. Yeah, sitting in those fucking Wait, no, were you in a No, you weren't in the You were close. I was
on the floor. I was on the floor.
Okay, so you were sitting in like a chair, or no?
Yeah, I was sitting in a chair.
Yeah, I was sitting on a bleacher. It was bad. It was hot. It was a great show, fun time, but yeah, definitely some hot manias. You know, when we went to the New York Mania a couple years after that, 35, and I was at the Philly one last year. Those were colder. The night one crowd actually kind of suffered. The crowd was quiet. A lot of people complained because it was cold in the building. We're not going to have that issue this year. It's going to be very nice, I think, both days, which is great. And obviously, with it being on the West Coast, earlier start time, out of there by 8 o'clock, it's incredible. Johnny also said in the chat, what do you think is going to be the match of the night, night one, night two, in both? It's a good question. We'll get into that now, actually, before I forget. Looking at the card for both nights, I'm going to put you on the spot, Mr. Marceau. Do you have any idea what the match could be, the match of the night could be for both night one and night two?
When you say match of the night, are you going to say the best match, or are we saying 5-star classic?
No, let's say best match, because best match doesn't necessarily have to be a 5-star classic. So for example, I think Ray and Grande Americano Chad Gable, that could be a great wrestling match, but is it going to be the show stealer? Probably not. I'm going to go the main event. I think Roman Punk and Rollins.
I was going to say, I think the main event on night one would be, I think that's easily the match of the night.
Yeah, I think that for night one as well. And the night two, probably the same thing, right? Cody, Cena. Maybe the women's triple threat. I think night two has more potential on paper. We didn't talk about that last week because they came out with the cards after we spoke. But I think night two is slightly stronger, even with only 6 matches. And they might add a 7th. We'll get to that. But what do you think about night two? The women's triple threat or the main event or something else?
So the main event's the draws the money, but I think the triple threat could be the best, the one that people are coming out of that was a really good match.
Okay, all right. Especially if Io Sky walks away still women's world champion. Hey, there's a chance, right?
There's always a chance. You got a 33.3% chance to win.
Doing that Scott Steiner math here on WrestleRant Radio.
Nathaniel said next year is the last chance for Rock versus Roman. Brother, we've been saying that for the last 5 fucking years. I want to say that next year's the last chance, but is it really? Rock could come back and do the match in 10 years if he wanted to. I'd rather they not wait, but I'm just saying. We all thought that last year. Oh, this is the last chance. They'll be in Vegas. How can they not do it there? And they fucking didn't, because Rock wanted the pivot. Johnny, thank you for joining us. He also had said, after that, he said, WWE's been doing great with the press and interviews this week. Tony Khan hopefully taking notes. Hopefully, but I honestly wouldn't completely agree with that. There have been a lot of interviews, for Roman, for Triple H, for Nick Khan. A lot of the quotes I see coming out of these interviews are fucking wild. I'm thinking I know certain questions are being asked, which is better than softball questions, but for them to respond the way that they are, I don't know if they're looking for attention, positive or negative. It's not doing them a lot of a goodwill, let's put it that way. But it certainly has been getting people talking. Johnny also said Hogan, Cena, Roman show that the top guy who need 5 moves to have. That was kind of a weirdly worded comment there, Johnny. But yeah, the top guy typically has a smaller moveset, but they're the biggest star in the company, so it hardly matters. So let's get into this thing, Mr. Marceau. Starting with night one. I think it was reported earlier today that the show's going to kick off with Gunther and Jey Uso. So main event Jey Uso is going to be opening match, Jey Uso and the Royal Rumble winner starting the show. Not the first time. We saw this with Edge and Del Rio. They've done this a few other times over the years. I honestly think this is the perfect opener, though, especially if it goes the way that we're expecting and the way that it should. How can this be anything but Jey Uso going over as the new World Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Marceau?
I think I think it has to be. I know people are like trying to talk it into existence that Gunther beats him, but I mean, with all the build and all the story, the win at the Royal Rumble, I think it would probably be one of the worst decisions they've ever made if they went against it. Gunther wins here. I mean, I just don't see any positive in Jey losing. There's way more negatives, I guess. Yeah, so like I just think it has to be him. The story's there. I mean, Gunther's like, I'm gonna beat you again. I'll be 4-0 against you. At that point, you're just dead in the water. Like, yeah. I think this has to, like you said, start the first match. Kind of get get the juices flowing. I mean, that's how you start the night, and then you'll have the triple threat the night to end the show. So you'll have the good start, and whatever happens to the triple threat, I think that'll be like more unpredictable. So it'll be a nice way to end night one. But I think Jay's got to win here. I mean, if he loses, I'll just let you know now. I'm not watching the rest of the show either night. But besides that, go Jay.
Listen, I completely agree, and that's not just coming from someone who's a massive mark of Jey. I very much like Jey as much as you do, and if not a little less so. But at the same time, I can admit I think they made the right choice in having him win the Rumble. The build of this match definitely did suffer significantly up until the end. I feel like Jey's promo on Monday was kind of throwaway, but what they did last week was great. The beatdown angle, the bloody beatdown angle from the week before with Jimmy Uso was very well done. Definitely got me more interested in the match than it was previously. I will play devil's advocate because we've talked before off air before we've hit recording stuff, maybe on air too, I forget. But, people have said devil's advocate. Oh, Gunther's doing great work now. It really feels like he has stepped up his character work and his promo work. They really should have him retain. Like, they can't do that beatdown angle on Jimmy and then have him lose, right? I just think that would be incredibly stupid to keep the belt on Gunther and have Jey lose for a millionth time. I feel like that would, as we've said before, that would make this entire build, this entire time that Jey has been built up to beat Gunther and then he doesn't, a complete waste of time if that happens.
No, I completely agree. And like I said, I think the whole shock factor of him winning the Rumble, yeah, the build hasn't been great, but like the stories in him finally beating Gunther. Like, he lost him at Saturday night's main event. He kind of hit him with, like, obviously I've had my issues with that finish. Like, he hit him with the kitchen sink, and then a second later, Gunther got up, powerbomb 1, 2, 3, and we moved on. But yeah, I mean, in theory, I think they kind of probably wish they had more time because you could kind of build that in a little bit more. Like, I feel like they never really went back to that, and I feel like that was one thing in the build they missed. Like, Gunther never said, like, he just said, like, you couldn't beat me. Yeah. But, like, I wish they kind of, like, went in deeper. It's like, at Saturday night's main event, you literally hit me with everything you could, and you still couldn't put me down. Like, what's going to be different this time? And then, obviously, something happened, like, something else. Like, I wish they kind of went into that more, like, Jey, like, preparing differently and stuff like that. I feel like that's what suffered in the build. Like, they just kept going to the same old, everyone's doubting me.
Yeah.
But, like, he didn't really do, besides winning the Royal Rumble, he didn't really do anything else to, like, really think he could beat Gunther. So, like, he beat Theory and Grayson Waller a few times. Like, okay, but, I mean, people are jumping on Jey, but, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it was just, like I said, the creative just wasn't really that good. But looking back at it, they should have kind of went back to that Saturday night main event match and kind of, like I said, like, go over, like, hey, you did hit me with everything, and you still couldn't beat me. Like, what's going to be different now? And like I said, like, just maybe show, like, a more aggressive side of himself or something like that. Like, they never really did that. I think that suffered, but at the end of the day, Jey needs to win, or he might as well just pack it up.
And honestly, I don't even think if he wins, and he should win, and I think he will win. Johnny had said a lot of chops and super kicks. Yeah, it probably will be. But if they can capture the crowd, it doesn't matter. And Nathaniel also asked if Jey Uso loses, then why would he win the Rumble? I completely agree. Like we just said, it would be a complete waste. But honestly, what I was going to say was, he doesn't even need to hold the World Heavyweight Championship long. Like, do you at least agree with that, Mr. Marceau? Like, if Jey wins, and again, he should, I'm not saying lose it the next night or be beaten for the belt that same show. But, like, he could lose it maybe a month later. It might be too quick. But like, within a month or two, I would say ideally SummerSlam. But I would say giving that Jey the moment, because Jey's all about moments. It's not really about the reign itself. If you give him that moment, honestly, anything that happens after that fact, it's not irrelevant, but I think it's okay if he doesn't hold it for long, because he's always been someone better in chase mode. But he has to prove that he can win when it matters most, though, which is why he has to win here.
No, I agree. I think, like you said, I don't think he needs to hold it for. Like you said, SummerSlam is also. I think August.
Yeah, early
May,
August.
June, July.
Yeah.
He'd hold it for like maybe 3 months. Like you said, I mean, obviously SummerSlam and WrestleMania, they're close together now. But I don't, like you said, he can hold it for 2 months, 3 months. I think just whoever beats him, I think they just make it make sense, and I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, someone,
Like, not that he's not championship material,
yeah.
but yeah.
No, yeah, sorry, it cut out there for a second. I thought you were done, but no, I agree. Yeah, he has to prove that he is championship material by winning. He doesn't have to hold it for that long. But even Nathaniel said in the chat, no, Johnny. Johnny said Jay should be champion for a year. Absolutely fucking not. Not everything has to be a year-long reign. I disagree with that.
No, thank you.
No, thanks. And that's coming from Mr. Marceau, who loves Jay. But Nathaniel said, I think either
I was
Punk...
gonna say, Jay's literally my favorite wrestler, and I'm saying no.
He's saying no. No thanks. Nathaniel said, I think either Punk or Seth can beat Jay for the championship at SummerSlam. Yeah, I mean, I said this on Twitter the other day. We'll get into the prediction here in a couple minutes, but I think Seth could win the triple threat, turn heel, which he needs, or at least a character change at the very least. And then, he can beat Jay for the belt soon after, like a month or two later, or if not by SummerSlam. Rusev can beat Jay for the belt, Johnny says. I don't think so. I don't think they'll book Rusev at the main event level. I wouldn't complain if they did. I just don't think that's going to happen. But we'll see. I would love to be wrong. Also on night one, there's 7 matches currently confirmed, so we'll kind of go around the horn here. Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano, Chad Gable. If it is Chad Gable, that's not confirmed. But if it is, this will mark his first singles match at WrestleMania. This kind of came together at the last minute. But I'm not really complaining because it gets Gable on the card. I think it'll be a good match. And honestly, I don't know if this is a hot take or not. I don't know if you agree. I think Gable/Americano goes over to keep the feud alive. And, I mean, other people have said this, but I could see this being like a mask versus mask situation, a backlash or on TV or something. So I'm going to go Grande Americano. Ray's team won last year in a tag team match. He beat Dom 2 years ago. I think he's owed a loss of Mania, and I think Gable wins here. Do you agree with that, or do you see Ray rolling right through Grande Americano?
I was going to say, keep saying Gable. I mean, it's El Grande Americano. If I just want to take time away, and I feel bad. Chad Gable is slighted again, not going to be on the WrestleMania card.
It's a
this
bummer.
New upstart, El Grande Americano, just took his spot. But, yeah, I got, like you said, it came together very quickly, and it's, like, very last minute. But yeah. I actually don't mind the match. Like, obviously, Ray's my all-time favorite, legend, GOAT, Rey Mysterio. But, I mean, you got to get him on the card. He's kind of local, San Diego, Vegas, close enough. But yeah, I think Americano goes over here. Like you said, I think keeping it going, mask versus mask. Like you said, even Backlash, I think great stip, and I mean, obviously Ray would win that. But yeah. No, I think what they've done so far, the character work's been great. The gracias instead of thank you is amazing.
Yeah, that's funny.
Americano can do a lot of things.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you can keep this going. He's kind of caught momentum with the gimmick. Assuming it is Gable, again, I'm just speculating here, so maybe it's not. But if it isn't, at least Americano's building momentum right now, and I think he picks up the victory here as well, so I agree. Jade Cargill versus Naomi, and as I've said before, this is an interesting matchup in that it is the first singles women's WrestleMania match without a championship on the line and no gimmick bullshit. So obviously they've done stuff like, cat fights before. And also, there's something going on in the fucking hallway here at the hotel. So if there's a random beeping noise in the background, that's why. I apologize. But anyway, this match is interesting because I think it's been very well built. And there's nothing on the line here. There's no championships, no bullshit. But I think they can go in there and have a good match. And this is another case where I feel like Naomi's really kind of building momentum right now as a heel. And she's getting more over into the role. She's finding her footing, where I would kind of feel bad if she lost. So I'll get to the outcome in a second, but I want to ask you first, Mr. Marceau, as someone who wasn't really sold on this match a couple of weeks ago, have they changed your mind at all with the great vignettes they've been doing on SmackDown, or do you still not care about this match? Oh, I may have lost it there. Hold on. Let me see if Mr. Marceau's still here.
I think I lost you. You hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
I think I lost you. Do you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, can you just repeat your question? It cut out right when you said it.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was just asking, as far as I know it was a match that you weren't overly hyped about a couple of weeks ago. Your thoughts on Jade versus Naomi? Have they changed your mind at all with like the vignettes and stuff like that they've been doing on SmackDown in the last couple of weeks, or do you still not care about this match?
I would still lean to not caring. I mean, I don't really. I mean, I do like you mentioned it briefly. I do like how it's like a women's match, sing 1-on-1, no title on the line. I think that's great. I think the women need more of that.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's just like I feel like it's like I think Naomi's actually doing pretty good heel work, but I think it's Jade wins 1, 2, 3, LOL, and we move on. Unfortunately, so. It's like I said, I've never been a big fan of it, but I think it's just to get Jade on the card. But I think they've done a decent job building it up to make people want to care. It's just not my cup of tea.
All right, I would like to see Naomi pull out the win because she's been doing well as a heel, but you think Jade's going to win 1, 2, 3 and we move on?
LOL, yep.
I think it would be nice. I'm going to say Naomi wins because if Bianca walks away the champion, not to give away all my cards here, but if Bianca does walk away the champion in her respective match, you could build a Bianca Naomi for that belt. I mean, unless Bianca goes heel as well, we just don't know. But if she doesn't, you can build the Bianca Naomi for the Women's World Championship. So I'm going to go off on a limb here and say that Naomi wins. I'll go with Naomi, going over in this matchup. Nathaniel said it earlier, I think Naomi should win because I like her heel turn, he said. And Johnny said, I'm shocked and surprised that WWE did not use Rikishi. They didn't use Rikishi for shit. Rikishi goes online on his own podcast, complains about Jay and Jimmy and all the fucking Samoans, NOI family not being used correctly. And he's going to be happy when Jay wins, but when he loses the championship at some point, he'll inevitably complain about that. I need another NOI riot, Mr. Marceau. You know how there was an NOI riot at WrestleMania 31? I think I might need Jey Uso to lose at WrestleMania just so I can see Rikishi riot at WrestleMania 41.
No, thank you.
Let's see here. LA Knight, Jacob Fatu, United States Championship. Not much story behind this one. Fatu became #1 contender recently. Knight just got the belt back from Shinsuke Nakamura. I think the match will be good, but honestly, I feel like this is kind of more unpredictable than most matches because I could see a scenario where Fatu takes the title, wins his first singles championship in WWE, and if not, I could see LA Knight handing him his first singles loss on WWE television by pinfall, and it being because of inadvertent interference from Solo Sikoa. So the interference from the former Bloodline backfires, LA Knight wins. I'm going to go LA Knight retains here, but again, I could see this going either way. I want Fatu to win, and I wouldn't be mad if LA Knight won. I just think it's more likely that Knight retains because Solo Sikoa will make his presence felt one way or another. So who do you see going over here, Fatu or LA Knight?
Yeah, this is, like you said, one that's not predictable. I think it could go either way. I'm kind of leaning more to your theory of LA Knight retaining, Fatu some kind of inadvertent interference by Solo or Solo purposely doing it. I think that's just more the likely outcome. I do think I'd rather Jacob just win. I mean, he's undefeated. I don't think you just burn that just to burn it to get him and Solo. I think you can get to him and Solo regardless. But like I said, Knight just got the belt back. You kind of looking at the card. There's other people you think are going to lose the belt. You don't want to like have 1,000 belts changing. I know it can happen, but some people do need to retain. Yeah. And I feel like this is probably one I'd slate to retain. So I'll go with Knight. I'd prefer Fatu to win, but I think the Solo interference leads to Knight winning.
Okay. Yeah, that's where I see this going. Noob said I'm going with Jade Cargill winning. Nathaniel said I think Solo cost Jacob the championship. That's what we were just talking about. Johnny thinks that Jacob's going to squash LA Knight for the belt, and then we get Jacob versus Solo for the United States Championship at SummerSlam. So that's an interesting theory. I think we're getting Jacob and Solo at some point. But let me ask you, Mr. Marceau, does that feud/match need the United States Championship, or can it just exist outside of the U.S. title picture and we just get Fatu versus Solo straight up in a singles match at some point?
Definitely doesn't need a belt. I mean, there's enough story there that I don't think you need the U.S. title on the line. Yeah. Obviously, they can use it to prop it up a little bit, but I think the history they have and the potential breakup, I think you don't need a title on the line.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's kind of like, for me, that's like Naomi. Obviously, I don't care about Naomi and Cargill as much, but like that's like kind of like the same. Like they have the history, so like the feud kind of, you don't need to put it over a belt. I see the same thing with Solo and Fatu.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think match doesn't need the championship, but if it goes that way, I could see it. It's not really necessary. Because honestly, if LA Knight loses as well, I'm not really sure what you would do with them. I guess you can also ask the question if LA Knight retains and then they pivot to, Fatu and Sikoa one-on-one without the championship, what does Knight even do as champion? So I could see that argument as well. But Knight just got the belt back. Why even take it off of him in the first place? That was a fucking waste of time. They should have never done that. But, I think Knight retains here, and if Jacob Fatu wins, again, you'll get no complaints out of me. That would be very cool. Raw, I almost said Raw Tag Team titles. World Tag Team Championships. The War Raiders taking on the New Day. Really no heat for this match at all. I think the War Raiders are great. The New Day are great, but WWE's done nothing with their heel turn. The War Raiders have barely been positioned on Raw as any real threat, even as champions so far this year. They kind of get the shaft from the show. They don't really wrestle all that often at all. Their television time is very limited. So this match has no heat. This kind of feels like a pre-show match, if anything. I'm kind of surprised they went with the Raw Tag Team title match on this show and not the SmackDown Tag Team title match, considering all the hype that division has gotten in the last 6 months and all the title changes and fun matches and twists and turns. Way more history there than this match, although these two teams have squared off before. I'm going to say New Day take the titles. I think it's just more likely. WWE, like I said, kind of dropped the ball on their heel turn. It was great when it first started, and they've cooled off significantly. Maybe they can kind of recapture some of that magic if they win the tag titles, although I don't really see the overall, dynamic of that division changing until they put more effort into making it matter. So who do you think walks out of this match, Mr. Marceau? The World Tag Team Champions, the Raiders or New Day?
Yeah, I think I'd lean New Day. I mean, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. I think the SmackDown Tag Team division's been a little bit better, but they went with the Raiders and New Day here. The Raiders, I feel like they've been a little bit better, but they're just never on TV, even wrestling. And the New Day, like you said, I think the heel turn had momentum, and then they kind of squandered it from there. And at this point, I've kind of just like, whenever I see them, I'm just like, whatever. Yeah. I guess them winning the belts, maybe you could kind of rekindle that a little bit. But besides, the problem is that there's just no, like, they don't have teams that people like care about. So if they beat the Raiders, okay, cool. Then what do they do? It's one of those things, like, they split the tag team divisions, and I feel like they've done a well job on SmackDown. But Raw, I just feel like I don't know what they're going to do next. Like, I feel like SmackDown, there's a plan. Raw, it's just kind of what they have.
Yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, what even teams do they have? I mean, they have Alpha Academy. That's one team. A-Town Down Under, who have been teasing tension for over a year now, but I guess you can count them, even though what the fuck have they done? What other teams do they even have? I mean, honestly, I feel like they need a real shot in the arm of that division, and I feel like calling up Fraxium coming out of WrestleMania might be the play.
Yeah, no, I don't hate that.
At least on Raw. I think on SmackDown they can kill it, but on Raw I feel like they could be a big asset to that division. Nathaniel said he's got New Day winning because, or what if Big E costs them? That's an interesting theory. I mean, again, if War Raiders retain, what do you even do with them at that point? But the issue with Big E costing them is that people would then expect him to come back to the ring. People expected him to come back right after the whole angle back in December. I still think he wrestles at some point, and we get back to that. But if it's not going to be imminent, which it's clearly not, because otherwise they would have done something with Big E and Kofi and Woods at this Mania, and they're not. I wouldn't do that. It would be a pleasant surprise, but if you're not going to have Big E wrestle anytime soon, I probably wouldn't do that. Would you want to see that, Mr. Marceau? Big E costing the New Day the championships?
If he's able to wrestle sometime soon, I wouldn't mind it, but there's going to be no actual payoff from it? No, thank you.
Yeah, at least not anytime soon. And then Johnny said he's got New Day going over as well. And that brings us to our top two matches at Night 1 of WrestleMania 41. Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair for the WWE Women's Championship. This match has gotten a lot of people talking. The build's been largely abysmal, but I mean, honestly, I think they've picked it up in the last couple of weeks. I like the, off-the-script segment they had, for as much as a train wreck as that was, and we've talked about it before, but I thought, it made matters more interesting. I'll give them that. And I think the match itself could also be great. We've talked a lot about this, Mr. Marceau. Who goes over here? I won't even give you my prediction. I'm going to throw it to you first. Charlotte Flair is a real possibility of walking out of this thing a 16-time champion or whatever the fuck it is. I could totally see that. But at the same time, it's like Tiffany, maybe she finds a way to retain. She's a babyface now. They want to establish her. I won't give my complete thoughts until I gauge your interest in what your thoughts are first.
Yeah, no, I think they've definitely heated it up the last couple of weeks. I mean, the whole off the script thing, it was what it was. I don't know. I feel like Charlotte's promo ability lately has been just awful. And then obviously Tiffany's just a natural. She's been a heel her whole WWE run basically. So I think just being more of a babyface and the promos just haven't really come natural to her. And I mean, that's going to come with time. I mean, I don't expect her to be amazing right off the bat, but this match, like the whole build and everything, I've just been down because I'm just like Charlotte wins, LOL.
Yeah.
I'm hoping there's a chance that Tiffany can retain. It's just I don't know. At the end, I feel like I have like the Charlotte yips. I mean, every time I feel like she's gonna lose, she wins every time. I mean, realistically, then they'd have two heel women's champions on SmackDown. With Chelsea being the U.S. champion, I'm going to go Charlotte because I fucking eat shit on this one every time. When I pick the other person, she wins, and then I bitch and cry to you. So I'm going to go Charlotte. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm like jinxing it. I want Tiffany to win. I love Tiffany. She's great. It's just one of those things. It's like, can't bet against Steph Curry or like LeBron James. You just can't bet against Charlotte at the end of the day. So I'm going Charlotte, unfortunately.
I mean, especially at WrestleMania. I mean, she hasn't lost all of her Mania matches. She actually has lost her fair amount of matches. She has not won a one-on-one match at Mania and since 38, so only 3 years ago. But she lost to Rhea 2 years ago. She wasn't even at WrestleMania last year because she was hurt. But at WrestleMania itself, she beat Ronda when we all thought that Ronda was taking the championship from her on that show. We thought Asuka was taking the title from her at WrestleMania 34, and instead Charlotte fucking tapped her out and ended her undefeated streak. When they crowned the inaugural WWE Women's Champion back in 2016, we thought, I thought Sasha was winning. You thought Becky was winning. Fucking Charlotte won. So, I mean, this has been a common occurrence at WrestleMania for this woman, and I think this is no exception. I do think Charlotte wins here. But here's another thing, though, and I've said this before. I know you talk about like the Charlotte yips and whatnot. I totally agree. I'm kind of, fatigued with her character as well. I will play devil's advocate. I don't think Tiffany needs to win this match. I think she's proven that she can hold her own on the mic. She's gotten better on that front in the last couple of weeks. I think she can honestly gain more from losing. I'm not saying Tiffany should lose. I'm not saying she should lose. But I'm saying I think she can gain something from losing here. If it puts her back in chase mode, people rally behind her to beat Charlotte at some point. It's kind of like what we saw with her and Rhea Ripley, except that they didn't tie that story up for 3 fucking years. I wouldn't wait that long with these two. But, I think Tiffany could benefit if Charlotte is champion. She hasn't been champion in 2 years, by the way. I don't really think Charlotte winning is all that bad, depending on the follow-up, and if Tiffany can get that belt back from her later on in the year. Do you agree with that, or do you think Charlotte as champion just equals bad?
No, it's not like one of those things that I think, Tiffany loses, she's fucking done. I think Tiffany's great, and I think she's proven that she can be a top women's talent in this company. And I think she loses, like I said, maybe she does benefit chasing and kind of getting back on the bike and going after Charlotte again and eventually obviously beating her. So I guess, like I said, I'm not against Charlotte winning because I think they'd hopefully pay it off correctly. It just, like you said, it's kind of more like Charlotte fatigue. I mean, like you said, her 16th title run? I mean, at this point, I've kind of seen it. I'm kind of over it. So that's why I'm leaning to. I'd rather just Tiffany win, but I just can't bet against Charlotte.
Just can't bet against this woman, especially on the grandest stage of them all, like I said earlier. Nathaniel said, I think Tiffany retains because what happens if Charlotte wins? Well, Charlotte's champion, first of all. If Charlotte wins, I'm not saying she has a strong division to defend against. I don't really care about Charlotte and Zelina Vega. I don't really care about Charlotte and Mia Yim. I mean, I think that match could be decent, although we got it a couple of weeks ago. We've seen Charlotte and B-Fab already. I don't want to see that anyway. Tiffany's the strongest woman babyface in that division by a mile. So it would have to be her chasing to get it back, whether it be at Backlash or SummerSlam. That to me would make the most sense. But I think Charlotte wins. And then Johnny said, I'm picking Tiffany. And he also said at Backlash, Tiffany versus Charlotte 2 should be a last woman standing match or cage match. Yeah, I could see that. I think that'd be nice given the intensity of their feud. And I feel like Charlotte's had some last woman standing matches that were great. So I think that would definitely work. And just like that, Mr. Marceau, we get to the main event of Night 1 of WrestleMania 41, the triple threat match with nothing on the line aside from maybe Paul Heyman's allegiance. It's going to be CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins in a triple threat match. A lot of back and forth with these three in the last couple of weeks. Like I said, nothing on the line here, which honestly makes it a little bit more unpredictable. Because if it was a championship shot, fucking Roman Reigns won't win because he's not really around. And Punk's more of a full-timer than Roman is, but Rollins is more of a full-timer than either of them. So I think for that reason alone, I'm going to throw it to you first before I give my prediction. Who do you think goes over? Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, or CM Punk?
Oh, God, the kid fucking pivoted right on my ass. I feel like this match, similar to the triple threat on Sunday between the women, I feel like the focus is clearly Punk and Rollins, it's Punk and Reigns, and I feel like Rollins is obviously intertwined in there. I honestly feel like realistically it should be Rollins and Reigns one-on-one, but maybe they can flesh that out a little bit further. But I don't know, I just feel like the story with Heyman and Punk and Roman, so it's like you're kind of thinking about that. But I don't know, I think Rollins wins here. I think he needs it the most. He needs to change his character. The freaking Rollins stuff just... Talk about fatigue. I'm a Seth Rollins guy, but the freaking stuff, the goofy outfits should have been gone a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I think maybe this is the right direction. I got Rollins winning here. I'm going with Rollins. I think he needs it the most, and I think it'd be kind of like a shocker because I think people are more focused on Punk and Roman, and then Heyman. Maybe Heyman, there's some kind of something in there, but I got Seth.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Mr. Marceau. I think Rollins winning makes the most sense. Roman's won his fair share of Mania matches. He does not need to win here. I'd be fine with Punk winning. This is his first Mania main event of any capacity. Rollins, you can argue, was in the Mania 31 main event. He was in the tag team main event last year. Now this is a fucking triple threat, but it's still the main event nonetheless. And I'm going to go Rollins too. I think Paul Heyman, I don't know if he chooses him because he still has that favor, which wasn't really a favor, but they might lean into that and say that Heyman owes him a favor because they didn't stomp him, I guess. I don't know. I think Rollins wins here. I will say, too, if you heard a bag rip open, that was Alexis eating her fucking candy. She just made a cameo in the background. She's currently waving, so she's waving your way, Mr. Marceau. I'll tell her that you said hi and that you called her the pivot.
Hi.
There she is. She said hi. And that's it. That's it for night one. I totally agree. I think Seth Rollins goes over. I think, like I said, because you mentioned how the Seth freaking Rollins thing, the visionary, revolutionary bullshit is so tired and, it's such a tired and, stale trope and whatnot. I said this on Twitter, but do you think Rollins goes heel in the immediate aftermath of the match? And like I said earlier, which we kind of teased, we maybe see Rollins versus Jey Uso coming out of WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I think, like I said, I don't mind that at all. I just need Seth to go heel and lose like I said, the goofy part of the gimmick just needs to go. The laugh, the clothes, it's just not. Like I said, I'm a big Seth Rollins guy, but it needs to go.
Yeah, I'm still not sold. And first of all, I agree. Second of all, I'm still not sold on Rollins with Heyman, but that might be where we're going here because I don't think Heyman chooses either Punk or Roman over the other because they've kind of leaned into that too heavily. The Rollins thing would be a nice swerve. I just don't know if long-term we really need that pairing, but it is worth considering. Johnny said first, it's a coin flip for him as far as who goes over. Well, there's only two sides to a coin, so I think I know what you mean, though. There's three people in the match. And then Nathaniel said, I'm going Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman joins him, and maybe The Rock confronts Roman. Well, we'll get into that, Nathaniel. We're getting to night 2 here of WrestleMania 41. Opening the show, most likely, I would have to think, reportedly, the Women's World Championship Triple Threat match. Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and Io Sky, the defending champion, of course. We talk about bad build. This match has been very fucking terribly built. But on paper, these are three superstars. All three women have a realistic shot of going over and retaining the champion, or not retaining, but walking in with the title, I would say. I would say Rhea getting the belt back is probably the least interesting scenario because she was just champion like a month ago. But I could see Io taking advantage of these two being at odds right now, finding a way to win, stealing the title. And then I think Bianca is probably the best bet just because she's been leaning heel. Don't know if they'll fully embrace that, although I think they should. We've been skeptical as to whether they will or not. But, there's a lot of different possibilities there where Rhea can chase Bianca for the championship going into the summer and maybe Evolution 2. Or they could just feud without a championship. So there's so many different directions. I'm just going to say Bianca and be done with it. But I'll throw it to you, Mr. Marceau. Bianca, Rhea, or Io Sky, who wins?
Like I said a couple minutes ago, I think the focus Bianca, Rhea, and I think Io leaves champion. I feel like it's one of those that we think it's probably Bianca. They said she's leaning heel. Definitely agree that Rhea retaining is my least, I not even least want to see. I would say there's a 0% chance I want to see that. She was champion all last year pretty much in the title picture. She just champion, just dropped the belt. I mean, I think Io retaining, like I said, it could be maybe something between, I don't know, Rhea and Bianca. One of them hits the other one with a finish. Io kind of moonsault, kind of steals the win. And then, like I said, maybe you could continue Bianca, Rhea without the belt. Bianca finally turns heel, beats Rhea, and then you can set her and Io up for SummerSlam, which was supposed to technically be a one-on-one match of Mania. You do that at SummerSlam. You have a heel Bianca versus Io, SummerSlam.
I feel like I'm outnumbered here because you're picking Io Sky. Nathaniel said in the chat, Io Sky. I don't want to see Rhea win the belt again, he said. And then Johnny also picked Io Sky. And he said at Backlash, we get Rhea and Bianca one-on-one. That's the only thing I don't agree with. I think we talked before. I said to you, maybe we finally get Rhea Bianca at Evolution. And, we didn't love that idea. I thought it would work, but you were like, that's kind of a match you save for Mania. I would not do it at Backlash. They haven't done it yet on the road to WrestleMania. Do we get it at Backlash, Bianca, Rhea, for a championship or not? Or do you think they hold off on that for later down the road?
I would hold off till later down the road.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to go about it, to be perfectly honest with you. Not currently confirmed for the card, but I will throw this out there in case it does get added. Because like I said earlier...
You didn't say... Whoa. You didn't say who you picked.
I think I said Bianca before. I'll say it again. I think Bianca
No, you
wins.
didn't. You threw it to me, buddy.
I didn't say definitively Bianca. Is that true? My bad.
You didn't. You said before I make my decision, I want to swing it to you.
Okay, fine. You're right. I'll go Bianca. I think Bianca wins. That's why I say I'm outnumbered. Brother, actually, Millennial Noob said, I get Io Sky retaining, but the question is, are there any top heels on Raw? Well, they can turn someone. I don't know. I don't even know what the Raw Women's Division looks like. They have Bayley and Lyra who are good. They would have to turn one of them probably. There's Liv Morgan. Liv and Io they've done that before, actually, although Io wasn't champion, but that's an option for some point. But no, I'll go Bianca. I will feel like the smartest person in the room if everyone's picking Io, and then I end up being right. Because also, let me ask you this: Bianca is undefeated at WrestleMania. Does that not make a difference to you, Mr. Marceau? They might end the streak this Sunday.
It doesn't. I mean, she shouldn't win. I mean, if anything, that just proves she shouldn't win because she wins every year and wins the title. So
okay,
or retains the title. So no, thank you.
All right.
How many times has she won the belt at Mania? It's been 3 or 4 times already. She's been in the company for fucking 6 years.
She's been involved.
Am I wrong?
Well, so she's had 5 Mania matches? Let's see. She beat Sasha. That was one.
She beat Sasha.
She beat Becky.
She beat Becky. Okay.
Okay, this is her 5th Mania because then she beat Asuka to retain. She didn't win the belt, but she retained, which was surprising. I didn't see that happening. And then she won that 6-woman tag match.
And then last year she. Exactly. So she's either won the belt or retained the belt. And last year was a last year was that throwaway. But still, every match that she's won the title, she's retained it or won it.
Which is why I think she should win it and then turn heel, because you don't want to see her win, so she should win and then turn heel.
Tiresome. She's getting Charlotte territory.
Millennial Noob said, I get one of the members of Damage Control turns on Io Sky. Oh, so Io maybe retains, and then who would from Damage Control would turn on her that people would give a shit about? Like Dakota Kai? I mean, I like Dakota Kai. But Dakota was she just turned heel, or she just turned babyface. I feel like she was a heel for so fucking long. To have her go back heel, it would be dumb. You know what though? Here's an option. Io retains, which I don't think is going to happen. You can keep dreaming. But what if Io retains, and then on Monday's Raw, Asuka comes back and then turns on Io Sky, and then you get Asuka and Io. How about that? Yeah, Millennial Noob just said the same thing. You agree with that, Mr. Marceau? I actually lost him. I lost him here on the stream. I went back to the thing in which he calls, and I lost this thing. So you'll probably be back here in a second. But that's an idea, Millennial Noob. I was thinking of that before you even put it out there.
Wins.
Alexa says Bianca wins because she wants to see the undefeated streak continue. Johnny asked earlier, will you watch the... oh, wait, let me add Mr. Marceau back. 1 sec. All right, Mr. Marceau.
You hear me?
Yep, I can hear
I'm
you.
back. Yeah, I got connected to the Wi-Fi and it cut me off.
No, it's okay. I think the question I posed was, what if, and Noob said the same thing right after I had said it, they don't have any heels for Io to work with, and the fact that Io retains is, it's not going to happen, so you can keep dreaming. But if she does retain, what if on the subsequent Raw, Asuka returns as a heel and attacks Io Sky? That solves that problem, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
All right, that's something to look forward to. Again, not going to happen, but in an alternate universe where maybe it could, then that's always an option. Johnny asked earlier, will you watch the 3-hour pre-show? For me, absolutely fucking not. Are you going to watch the 3-hour pre-show, Mr. Marceau, with no matches?
Can I call you? Absolutely fucking not.
Yeah. I don't want to hear Pat McAfee and God knows who else going off for 3 hours about God knows what. Johnny said Taker told Triple H, someone else's streak doesn't work for me, brother. That's funny. Nathaniel also said Dakota Kai just turned babyface. Yeah, exactly. That's what we were just saying. She literally just turned babyface. So to turn her back heel would be dumb. She turned on Tegan Nox. She turned on Raquel Rodriguez. She turned on Bayley. She would just be a fucking terrible friend if she turned on Io Sky now. So I wouldn't want to see that personally. But speaking of the women's tag titles and Liv Morgan, we mentioned her there a moment ago. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defending the WWE Women's Tag Titles against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Definition of a makeshift match just to get Liv Morgan on the show. But I think she should be on the show. She had such a great year. And honestly, I feel like this is going to be a sleeper match on the show. I feel like this could be really fun because Liv has busted her ass in most matches she's had this year. She has good chemistry with Raquel. Bayley and Lyra had good chemistry in that women's gauntlet tag team match on SmackDown last week. I don't think we get new champions, though. Bayley and Lyra, Mr. Marceau, or Liv and Raquel here for the WWE Women's Tag Titles?
No, I think Liv and Raquel will retain here. I mean, like you said, I think Lyra and Becky showed great chemistry on SmackDown last week. I thought they killed it, honestly, but I think, like you said, this is more just to get Liv on the card. She was a beast last year overall, and it'd be a shame to leave her off the card.
Yeah.
I mean, this throwaway tag match is what it is. I mean, but I think she deserved it. Haven't really cared for Raquel's return heel work, but I think Liv deserves a moment at Mania, and this is it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be a fun match in the undercard, and still WWE Women's Tag Champions Liv and Raquel. Now, it's not officially confirmed for the card, but I will throw it out there just in case it does get added to the card a little bit later on. Randy Orton's match. Obviously, he was supposed to face Kevin Owens probably on night 2 because we're down to 6 matches on night 2 compared to 7 on night 1. It was teased on SmackDown last week. Nick Aldis, I know you left a comment on the video that we put up on the channel last week saying Malachi Black, Aleister Black, whatever. I love the match. The only issue is I don't want Orton losing, especially if he goes to Backlash, hopefully to face Cena for the World Championship. Are you sticking with Aleister Black as your pick if they do go forward with a match with Orton? I honestly think it's going to be Solo Sikoa. I think it's going to be Solo Sikoa, and then Orton wins. Maybe they do a tag match. I think Orton wins regardless, but what do you think they do with Orton at WrestleMania?
I mean, Solo sounds like, why would they do him and Solo? That sounds terrible.
I know, just to get, listen, I'm all for giving people what they deserve on the show because they said the same thing about Liv. Like, oh, Liv had a great year, put her on the show. Solo, I'm not saying he had a bad year, but no one gives a fuck about Solo Sikoa as currently is the problem. I mean, Liv Morgan is still very over, and she's popular, and people love her and shit as a heel. Solo's got no heat at all. He has nothing going for him. Just to put him on the show would be stupid. So if he is on the show, I think he loses. But I really don't want that to be the case.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. I guess it really just depends on what they do in a Backlash.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like Black. I mean, they've been teasing it, but I mean, it's not. You don't have to do it, but I feel like him versus Solo would be underwhelming.
Yeah, definitely. But does Orton win
Because I feel like
regardless?
if you're gonna give him a match, I think people are expecting something big, and it would just turn out to be Solo. It'd be like, oh.
Yeah, no. I mean, well, they could just announce in a quick graphic on SmackDown. It's not like, dude, if they did an open challenge and Solo showed up, I mean, you might as well just cancel the whole show after that. That'd be terrible.
Like, and your opponent is
And the dumbass trumpets.
We're giving it on. People would fucking riot.
People would riot. Yeah, that would not be pleasant. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but I could see them doing something along those lines. It's like read the fucking room. That would be awful. Johnny said earlier he's picking Liv and Raquel to retain with help from Carlito. I don't really think they need Carlito's help, but I guess. Nathaniel said, I think Randy Orton beats whoever he faces. I agree. And he also said he has Liv and Raquel winning. I agree with that too. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. Listen, I was not very excited, but I was looking forward to this match when they first started teasing it because I'm like, that could be a great fucking match. I think it will be a great fucking match. The feud has sucked. They've barely been on the show furthering the feud. It's been I call out you, you call out me, I attack you. Basic ass shit. Which for a mid-card match, whatever, but it should have been bigger than what it was considering these are two notable names in the company. Whatever. I've seen a lot of people say that Logan Paul should win or could win here. I don't think so. If Logan Paul is disappearing after Mania, and he's not a full-timer, by the way, I think the whole gimmick is that he thinks that he is, but he's not. Whatever. What's the point of having Logan Paul win here if he's just going to disappear? I would have AJ Styles go over and beat Logan Paul. But what say you, Mr. Marceau? AJ Styles or Logan Paul?
Yeah, it really depends on Logan's, like you said, intentions or what he's planning on doing. I would lean AJ. I mean, I think you could build AJ depending on what you see in him. I mean, he's kind of at the elder years of his career, but if you think he could have one more even main event run, maybe not winning the belt, but like doing him for like a championship, I think you could lean that way. I mean, I'm kind of done with the Logan Paul thing. It's like you're either in or you're out, like shit or get off the pot. Like he says he's full time, you never see him, so I would go with AJ.
Yeah, I would have AJ win here if he's back. We don't know for how long. Is he going to retire soon? Is he leaving soon? Make the most of AJ while you have him. If they have Logan Paul win, to me, honestly, that's an indicator that Styles is leaving. Because why the fuck would you have Logan Paul go over? He won at WrestleMania last year. He doesn't need this win. He won that triple threat United States Championship match. No real reason to have him win here. This can be a match where you have AJ win, and that's it. Like I mentioned, Jade and Naomi and Grande Americano and Mysterio. Those are matches where you can have the heels go over to keep the feud going. There's no reason to keep this going. The feud's been basic as fuck. Have AJ win in a good match and move on. Noob said earlier on, and nobody cares about Solo Sikoa and now in caps at all, which I agree with. No real reason to have him on the show. Scott got it. Scott, what's going on, dude? I actually met him at WrestleMania weekend 4 years ago in Tampa. Thanks for joining and watching the show. I appreciate it. Hopefully, are you here in Vegas for Mania? Let me know in the chat if you're still here. But he said in the chat, wild to me that Solo main evented SummerSlam and he's not on Mania. That is kind of crazy. I don't think he needs to be on Mania just because he main evented SummerSlam, though, because he shouldn't have main evented SummerSlam either. Does that surprise you, though, Mr. Marceau, that he was, he main evented all these pay-per-views, Bad Blood, SummerSlam, Money in the Bank, pinned Roman, pinned Cody, and he's not even wrestling at WrestleMania? That's surprising to me personally.
Yeah, I mean, he's also fallen off like a
He really has,
I think it's more just the booking, but I actually totally forgot that he main evented SummerSlam, but I feel like that was more because of Roman coming back. But no, I mean, like I said, he was put over. He's pretty much beaten everyone at this point. He beat Cena. I mean, Cena's last fucking match Solo beat him. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know if you say booking malpractice, but like they pushed him all the way to the top, and now he's fucking jerking the curtain. So.
Yep, and that's just what happens. I mean, it's an issue of booking. He's just not a main event guy. It is what it is. Nathaniel said, I have AJ Styles winning. Johnny's also picking AJ. AJ should wrestle one more time in TNA. Yes, he should. I agree. At Backlash, AJ versus Logan for ownership of Prime. Just joking. Hopefully not. That would be terrible. Hopefully not. I mean, I don't know if AJ, you would want to lose that match on purpose. Why the fuck would you want to? Why the fuck would you want to own that shit? Although, Mr. Marceau, you did drink Prime when we met Logan Paul a few years ago at SummerSlam weekend. Was it good when you had it?
That's pretty good. I mean, like you said, they probably make decent money. Like I'm assuming they're in the green. I mean, why wouldn't you want to?
Yeah, actually, you know what? Not a bad idea. It's been around long enough. So it probably is making money. Nathaniel said AJ Styles has said he ain't wrestling at 50. That's good. That's a good mindset to have. He's not Chris Jericho, who's wrestling well into his fucking mid-50s. I mean, I know that's completely irrelevant, but it just reminded me of that. And then Scott also said, not in Vegas, unfortunately. Hope you guys have a blast there. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. Hope to see you at a show in the Northeast soon. I know you've been to the last couple of... I saw you at WrestleMania last year, but that was also in Philly, so I guess that was near the Northeast. But, yeah, Scott, thanks for joining the show. Thanks for sending in a comment, and I'm sure I'll see you soon at a show very soon in the Northeast. I feel like I see Scott at the most random times in the most random of places in the last couple of years, but hopefully you're doing well. On to night 2, other matches on this show. I mentioned AJ and Logan. Let's go to the four-way for the Intercontinental Championship. Braun Breaker, Penta, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio. Another match where it really could go any way except for Finn Balor. Finn Balor's not fucking winning the belt. He's an ultimately a stepping stone at this point. He's not winning, but it comes down to Penta. It comes down to Breaker. It comes down to Dominic. Any of these guys could win. I'll throw it to you, Mr. Marceau, who walks out the Intercontinental Champion.
This is a tough one. I think it's between Breaker and Penta. I just don't see Dom winning. I mean, I don't see Finn winning either, so that's why I'm just breaking it out of them two. And I guess it really depends on where they see Breaker. I mean, I guess he could be the one to beat Jay. You said Seth. It could be Breaker down the line. Like I said, so down the line, maybe not have to be this year. I'm going to say Breaker. I think he retains. I feel like it's kind of a lot of noise everywhere else. I think Breaker retains. I wouldn't hate Penta winning, but I mean, no to Finn, and I love Dom, but I don't think he needs to win either. But I'll go with Breaker.
Funny you say that. Nathaniel said he has Dom winning. Johnny's going Penta. You're going Breaker. So this is what I'm saying. And no one's picking Finn, because why the fuck would anyone pick Finn? But like, any one of those guys could win. Johnny said about Penta, it would create further cracks in Judgment Day. And Nathaniel also asked if you ever drank Prime. I mean, we just talked about it. Mr. Marceau did. He said he thought it was decent. I've never had it. I've had a C4 energy drink that WWE was partnered with, and I'm not an energy drink person, so I didn't finish it. I didn't like it. But Mr. Marceau drank Prime. He thought it was decent. I'm going Dominic here. I think Dom walks out champion, and here's why. I think he needs to. I think Penta just got here. He could win. It would be awesome. A great moment if he won. But I think he could benefit from being in chase mode a little bit longer and then beating Dom for the belt down the road. Finn Balor, we've already discussed, isn't even winning. Braun Breaker, I think, should lose here because I think he's ready to move on to something bigger. So you mentioned how he could be the one to beat Jey Uso, and I agree. Why not start that main event ascent now? Like, why not put him in King of the Ring, which he was left out of last year, and that kind of created the heel persona that we got from him in the remainder of 2024. So I think Dom should win here. One, because I think he deserves it. But, I mean, everyone deserves shit, so it's not really a good enough answer. I say that because he still gets great heat. There's no real obvious direction for him. Like with Solo and Jacob, they're going to be headed for a match one-on-one at some point, Balor and Dom. Why not make that over the Intercontinental Championship? Maybe Finn goes back babyface. They bring back the Demon like anyone gives a shit at this point, but they could try. And then, they have further gold in the Judgment Day or whatever the fuck they want to call it, and they have, Liv as tag champion and Dom is the Intercontinental Champion. Maybe Liv can win the IC title at some point. I feel like Dom's got to win this match, and after losing the last 2 Mania matches he's had, I feel like he's the best fit to win this match. Any thoughts on that at all?
No, I mean, I guess you can trade me a little bit more with you laying it out, but
You're sticking with Breaker.
I guess we can all agree that we don't think Finn should win, so I guess that's a positive, right?
Nathaniel said, if Braun Breaker wins, who beats him? Oh, that's a good question. So if Braun Breaker wins, Mr. Marceau, who beats Braun Breaker for the belt? Ilya Dragunov, who should be back at some point down the road? Penta one-on-one, who beats Breaker?
Yeah, if he retains, like you said, I think Penta, he doesn't need to actually lose here. So it's, like I said, I guess, I feel like after you outline it, I feel like a fucking idiot, but...
That's my job.
You're like, well, you could lose and win King of the Ring and win the belt down the line. Yeah, but I'll still go Breaker. Like I said, I wouldn't hate Dom winning. But like you said, I mean, maybe he does lose it somewhere. Maybe he does lose to Dom somewhere down the line. But I'm still sticking with Breaker.
All right. Hey, listen, like I said earlier about Bianca, when everyone was picking Io, you're the smartest guy in the room. If Bianca or if Breaker walks out, you're still champion.
When Dom wins, I'll be eating my hat. I'll tell you that.
But at least Nathaniel said Dom, so I'm not completely alone. Scott said earlier on, I'm going to say Dom gets the win after a move done by Finn further to the dissension. That's exactly what I'm thinking, Scott. Great minds think alike, because Johnny said the same thing. So Dominic should steal the pin from Finn. I think all three of us, not you, Mr. Marceau, but the rest of us are on the same page here. I think Dom steals the win from Finn. Finn gets mad. They kick him out of Judgment Day. He's a bum anyway at this point. He's booked like a bum. I think that's where they go with this, but maybe they swerve me and Braun Breaker wins his first WrestleMania match. I wouldn't be shocked, and I wouldn't be mad at that either. Nathaniel even said Demon Finn is on a losing streak, Graham. Hey, listen, you don't have to remind me. Not only is he on a losing streak, that match with Edge was not great, and he fucking lost, which was awful. The match before that, the one against Roman, was indeed terrible, where he had like a seizure at ringside or in the middle of the ring or whatever the fuck it was. The Demon died that night, and they tried to resurrect him at Mania 39, and that was even worse. So the Demon's dead, but they could try bringing it back if they want to see if anyone gives a shit. Johnny said, I miss Finn rising his arms up during his entrance. He'll probably do that again soon. And I also saw, it didn't make the Netflix feed, or it didn't make the Raw feed on Monday, but I get the commercials, so I don't see what goes on after during the commercials on Netflix. But apparently Finn did do the arm thing during his entrance on Raw this week, so maybe a tease for what's to come. I was hoping Sheamus would beat Braun Breaker, Nathaniel said. Well, guess what? He's not. He's not even on the show. I was hoping that 6 months ago, but after Braun Breaker beat him fucking 3 or 4 times, it just wasn't going to happen. I think the moment Sheamus re-signed his contract, that he'll win the belt at some point, but that basically told WWE, oh, well, Sheamus doesn't need to win it now because he's going to be here for another 5 fucking years. We don't need to rush into it, so Sheamus isn't winning. And Johnny asked, who should replace Finn in Judgment Day? Well, that's a good point, because Dom's been saying recently, oh, Judgment Day needs a new member. If Judgment Day gets a new member, Mr. Marceau, who should it be? If they need to add a new member, I would just disband the whole group altogether. But is it Aleister Black or someone else?
No, I would just, like you said, you can disband it or just kind of come over with your own group with Liv, Raquel, Dom, and Carlito, honestly. But like I said, they could disband and just go. Just honestly, realistically, should just be Liv and Dom at this point. But I mean, if you wanted to keep Raquel and I guess she would have to be kind of involved, but Carlito as well. But I would just focus on Liv and Dom at this point. They're kind of like the money act. Yeah,
I agree. Sin City Street Fight between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. Fun fact for you, Mr. Marceau. The S and GSM actually stand for Sin City. That's how much I love Las Vegas. I kid. But this should be a fun match. The feud they've tried to make matter by acknowledging their history, which I like, dating back to last year. Not exactly a marquee match, but they've put effort into it, which I appreciate. I think this is a must-win situation for Drew. I mean, Damian got his Mania moment last year when he won the World Heavyweight Championship. Drew lost. He actually won at that Mania. He won the World Heavyweight title, but, other than that, though, he hasn't won in a while. He lost to Punk inside Hell in a Cell. He lost to Damian at the Rumble inside the Chamber. I think Drew's got to win here. There's no doubt in my mind Damian's got the better of him like fucking 6 different times. They have to have Drew McIntyre win this match. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I think Drew wins here. I think you said he's lost so much lately that he would need the win. Priest loses nothing if he loses here, honestly. So I got Drew.
I agree. Nathaniel said, I say Karrion Kross becomes the new member? I don't think so. I don't know if a lot of people would care, and 2, I think he's better on his own anyway. He also said, I have Drew McIntyre winning, as do we. I feel like that makes the most sense. And that brings us to our last match in the card, Mr. Marceau. John Cena, Cody Rhodes, undisputed WWE Championship. A lot of talk between these two. I know they have one more segment to go on Friday SmackDown, so we'll see what they do. I think every week that passes, I get worried that there is a bigger chance that Cena will lose despite having just turned heel, and then he'll kiss and make up with Cody afterward and go back babyface. Does that happen here? I'm going to ask you. I'm not going to give away my prediction. I'm going to have to throw it to you first, Mr. Marceau, as I do in the tough situations. Rhodes or Cena, who walks out with the undisputed WWE title?
This is why I hate you sometimes. This is like literally one of the hardest matches. I feel like I lean either way as the day comes on. I feel like Cena feels like it's like if Cena win. Like I feel like it feels so obvious Cena's going to win. So then like I lean Cody, but then I'm like, Cody's had the belt for so long, like, he doesn't need the belt, so it's like Cena winning would make sense, but then I'm like, if this is Cena's last year, like you said, maybe Cody wins and they kiss and make up, and Cena wins it down the line, but then, like, Travis Scott and The Rock going to get involved, like, Cody said that Travis Scott's going to have a receipt on Sunday, so,
I saw that.
So clearly he's going to be there. Like, we wouldn't just say that, so that was kind of weird. But we have also had nothing. Like, the thing I have with the whole Rock, Travis Scott, like, we haven't seen them since the Rumble. That was in fucking February. It's been almost 3 months we haven't seen them. And now we're supposed to expect them to be, like, I guess Travis Scott is, like, has one of the theme songs, but, like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like him and Rock getting involved, like, it would just be so dumb because they haven't mentioned it in 2 months. Or they haven't even been seen on TV in 2 months, so... This is, like, it hurts me because, like, not that I don't want Cody to be champion anymore, but, like, I'm kind of, like, over Cody being champion, but I also don't want Cena to win. I'm going to go with Cody. I know it's probably not a popular answer. Kill me, beat me, whatever you want to do, but I'm going Cody. I don't like it, but I don't like Cena winning it either. To me, it's a lose-lose, but I'm going to go with Cody.
Damn. Interesting answer. I think if Cody wins, I think you really run the risk of people starting to turn on him, which he has honestly not experienced so far yet in WWE since coming back 3 years ago. There were a lot of chances where they could have, and they didn't. They stuck by him, but I feel like if you have him win when the odds are so stacked against him with the whole Rock factor, and the fact that he hasn't shown up since Chamber is fucking bullshit, by the way. Travis Scott will probably be there this weekend, get a receipt coming his way. I say John Cena wins. I think John Cena's got to take the title. I am more skeptical in that, prediction every day that passes, like you were saying. But I'm going to stick with Cena. I'm going to go Cena becomes champ. Otherwise, the remainder of this retirement tour, it just feels forced. I mean, it would just be bizarre to me. I mean, I guess it's already bizarre as it is. But it would be very weird to have Cena out there, acting all happy-go-lucky 1 month. The next month, he's telling us that he's breaking up with us and just shitting on the entire audience. And then the next month after that, he's back to doing that. I think it would be dumb, by the way, if they have him lose to Cody and then he's still a heel. I think that's better than him going back babyface, don't get me wrong. But what are they going to do, him and Orton in a regular match with Cena as the heel? Again, better than the alternative, but still stupid. And then Cody, what do you even do with them? Cody and Drew is an option at some point. That's a good feud to do, but... I think Cena's got to win. But you're steadfast that Cena's losing on Sunday, Mr. Marceau?
I don't know. Like I said, it's one of those things, like, I feel like it's in a lot of the bigger matches, I feel like their focus is like, I feel like it's like Cena has to win. Like, people like Cena's got to win. Like, it's got to be Cena. But the story, I don't know, we said the same thing with Cody 2 years ago. Like, Cody wins, LOL. He beats Roman, and Roman won. Like, and everyone hated it, and besides me, I laughed in your face. And I don't know. Like I said, I'm not, like, tired of Cody per se, but, like, I feel like his championship, like he said, like, it's kind of running some people thin, and honestly, him beating Cena here, I think, would expedite that, but I don't know, like, I don't love Cena being champion because he's not probably going to be around that often.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know, I don't love that either, and, like, the whole heel turn, like, it was a big moment and all, but for me, like, it hasn't, like, it's worse to me, and I don't really love the heel work he's done, like, the 2 weeks in a row that he was in England, it's just, like, the promos weren't great, like, obviously Cody's laid him out last, I'm looking one-on-one, Cena would win, but...
Yeah.
I don't know, I think Cody winning, like I said, I don't know. I'm going to go with Cody. I don't love either. Like I said, I don't really love either of them winning at this point, but I have to pick one. I just lean Cody. I think Cena winning, to me, does nothing. Like I said, I've never really been a big Cena guy.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm just leaning against that, but I'm... Wins LOL text in the thread, so... I'm going Cody.
All right, he's going Cody. All right, interesting analysis. It's kind of hard to argue against that, honestly. Johnny said earlier, Drew with the win, slam him on the big poker chip. I assume if they have one. He's going Cena. Nathaniel's going Cena. Johnny said Travis and The Rock going to turn the match into a handicap match. I could probably see that. Someone's got to help Cody, otherwise he has no friends. Nathaniel said Rock and Travis' last appearance was Elimination Chamber. Yeah, I think that's what Mr. Marceau meant. Scott then said, I've been saying Cody the whole time, but today I looked at the Backlash event page and Cena and Orton are the ones advertised with no Cody picture. That is interesting. But I mean, Cody doesn't have to be defending the championship on that show. There were plenty of pay-per-views last year that Cody was not at, but he was still the champion for. So very possible that happens again with Backlash. And Scott also said, I mean, if Stone Cold comes out, then Cody has to win, and then Travis Scott has to eat a stunner. What about that, Mr. Marceau? If Stone Cold is at Mania, do you think that automatically qualifies Cody winning, because why else would Stone Cold be out there?
I guess like one thing that like, I mean, that Stone Cold's there. I mean, Cody wins. Oh well. I mean, come on, it's Stone Cold. Yeah. I guess one thing that like I also look at that I feel like people just have neglected, and I get like, yeah, he won Elimination Chamber, or like, but like, Cena hasn't won a singles match in fucking 7 years. Like, why? Like, I guess my thing is like, why should he beat Cody? Like, he hasn't proven like, it's not like he's like, I wish like they kind of built him up more to like prove that he could beat Cody. Like, he really hasn't done that for me. So like, that's another thing. It's like he hasn't won a match. So last time we saw Cena in a one-on-one match, he lost a fucking solo Sikoa in Saudi Arabia. He got killed by him. So like, I kind of wish they kind of built it up a little bit, and like they said, maybe if he does lose, then you can kind of like him and Orton, and like maybe beats Orton, and like kind of like build it there. I mean, Cena winning, like I guess, but like I said, that's why I feel like I'm also leaning to Cena, because besides the Chamber, like what else has Cena really done to make you think he should beat Cody?
Yeah, nothing. The answer is nothing. So you raise a good point. He's got to start racking up wins. Maybe he loses here, and then he goes on a winning streak coming out of the show, and that's how he gets another opportunity down the road. Maybe he's a babyface, and he wins there. As a face or a heel, I think having him win on Sunday is more intriguing to me, even though the heel turn hasn't exactly been my cup of tea. Go ahead, sorry.
I guess I wanted to ask you this question. Like, what have you overall thoughts of this evening?
Not great. I mean, I think that last promo was great, and we'll see what he does on SmackDown on Friday. Yeah. But, I mean, it hasn't lived up to its full potential. I agree with you on that for sure. I think having him be champion, though, is my point. I think that could improve it if he improves, if he shows up more. But we don't know. I mean, there's no guarantee of that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think the moment was big. I think the heel turn, like, what he's done since is definitely underwhelming for me. I mean, the promos moved. So that's a lot to full. It's just like, I don't know, I just haven't really cared for it. I mean, I think it was more like a shock to get people shocked, and like, yeah, it's a huge shock, but the follow-up's not been great, but I think people kind of overlooked that. But
yeah,
Cody, I think, like you said, if he wins, I think he'll turn people against him, unfortunately. He's kind of getting in that, like, territory as it is, and if he beats Cena, it's definitely going to get there, but I still go with Cody. I think they just have their eggs in his basket right now. And I don't know. I just don't see him losing the belt.
All right. Well, we'll see on Sunday. If Cena wins, I'll shoot you a text, and if Cody wins, you can shoot me a text. Cena wins or Cody wins, LOL for sure. Have it saved in the drafts, and we'll have a lot more to discuss next week here on the show. Last couple of comments here. Nathaniel said, John Cena's heel turn should run until at least SummerSlam or close to December. I agree. I mean, honestly, if it continues to underwhelm, then maybe not. Maybe they should cut it short. But I would have it last longer than Mania. And Johnny said Ricky Saints might help Cody. I don't think so. I don't think so. That's definitely not happening. I can almost guarantee you of that. Maybe in New Orleans next year, where Ricky Saints is from. Definitely not this weekend, but, you know, he'll be busy at TakeOver, or that Stand and Deliver show, rather, this weekend. With his hands full as the NXT North American Champion. But, Mr. Marceau, this has been great. I know we're talking a lot later than we usually do on a Thursday. It's 4 o'clock on the West Coast over here, 7 o'clock where you are on the Northeast. I'm glad we could do this, though, breaking down WrestleMania. And obviously, I'm sure we'll have a lot more to discuss about the weekend and the show itself when we link back up next week here on the show, brother.
All right, sounds good.
Sounds good, boss. And as we wind down here, folks, one more time, channel members, Alexis, Miss Maud Matthews, Dillon DiGiacomo, Mrs. Renee, DJ Swerve1, at Swerve1 on the IG. Daniel Malcolm, who I know is here in Vegas for Mania as well, at I'm Quarter on X. Follow him there. Mr. Marceau, of course, we just mentioned him. At RJ_Marceau on X. John Ritland, Real Honesty with John Ritland on YouTube. And Richie, find him here on YouTube as well. Red Planet Wrestling on YouTube. So please consider becoming a channel member by clicking the join button at the top of this video on PC. I think on the YouTube app, it's in the description box. It's in the description box of every video, so you can find it there. $5 a month gets you top billing and all the shows, shout-outs at the beginning and end of every live stream, and in the description box of every video. Early ad-free access to videos, members-only live streams, Discord access, badges and emojis and live chats, all that other sort of shit. the WrestleRant All Access Pass. Mr. Marceau, brother, I'll continue having a fun time in Vegas for you. I'm thinking about you. I wish you were here, and I'll try not to fall in the fucking Bellagio fountain one of these days while I'm here. So I'll try not to I'll try not to drink too many White Claws while I'm at it as well.
I was gonna say, stay off the White Claws. I don't want you taking a dip.
I may not be here next week if I end up in the Vegas prison after drinking too many White Claws and getting arrested. So I'll keep you posted.
Sounds good.
All right, boss. Have an awesome one for Mr. Marceau. I'm Graham GSM Matthews. Happy WrestleMania weekend, folks, and we'll catch your ass down the road.
Join Graham GSM Matthews and RJ Marceau every Thursday as they run down their weekly wrestling rants, offer expert analysis, host exclusive interviews, and more. Subscribe today on all your favorite podcast platforms and never miss an episode of WrestleRant Radio.